You're working for a news station, Mr. I'm nominated for an award, Mr. Cool Guy.
It's like he forgot about us little people as soon as he gets nominated for an award.
Well, now we can't hype him up anymore. We got to show him for the true person who he is, always late.
He's too big for his britches now.
Check. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
Though.
Dude, I know. It says my camera's being used by other apps, but what is the other app? I don't get it.
We're just going to let you know right now. We are recording and you are 15 minutes late.
Video settings. Video. Unable to start video at this time. Please resolve the error and restart video. Your camera is being used by other apps. Close those apps and try it again. What other app? I don't understand. Dude, what is going on with this video? Oh my goodness.
Is it a work computer or is it your personal computer?
It's a work computer. It's what I used last week.
J5 webcam. There
you
go.
are.
Hey!
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a miracle.
Welcome to the Circus Catch. I'm always up for the challenge.
Are you kidding me? Guess who called that one?
I am dubbed the Houston player hater. I don't have time to believe.
You got butthurt.
What is he thinking?
Is he the greatest of all time?
It is like magic.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 2. The entire crew is here. I've got Jackson, I've got Jesse, and I've got Austin. Guys, welcome to the show.
What's going on, Jordan?
Howdy.
Howdy, partner.
Guys, let's get right into it. We have big news. Shohei Ohtani signed a $700 million deal with the Los Angeles Dodgers a couple days ago. Now, here's the caveat with this. He is deferring the majority of that contract. He's doing $2 million a year for the 10 years that he signed with them. And then for the next 10 years after that, $68 million per year. Austin, let's start with you, the in-house Dodgers fan. How are we feeling about this contract?
It's a lot of money. I mean, that's the first, live reaction to that. But it's a gift, it's a Christmas gift. Christmas comes early for the Dodgers. He's allowing them to go out and spend more money, get more pitching help, get more hitting help, whatever they need. And I mean, anybody outside of LA or not a Dodger fan is just got to hate this because it's like, oh, here we go. The Dodgers get yet another player and they're going to be dominant for the next 10 years. And it's going to be simple. What will it look like? Will he pitch? Will he just be a hitter? What will he become? It's yet to be determined, but we know he's probably not going to pitch next year. $2 million is not a lot for one of the best designated hitters in the entire major league. So it's a great day if you're a Dodger fan. That's for sure.
I am surprised about how much money is going in deferred payments, but that's something that the Dodgers have been doing a lot lately. Just look at Mookie Betts. Look at his contract. A lot of his money at the end of his contract is going to also go into deferred payments. It's just great business tactics from the Dodgers at that standpoint. But if the Dodgers do not win a World Series at all within this 10-year stint, it is going to go down as one of the biggest busts just because how much you are paying in the future for not a championship.
Jesse, what does this say about sports contracts going forward? This is an unprecedented move, and it's quite a bit more than even second place.
It is an absurd amount of money. And now you can expect, and I would at least expect, the future of contracts in pro sports, at least North American pro sports, are going to substantially climb again. We almost saw internationally Messi with the, $1 billion contract that Saudi Arabia clubs were trying to pull him. Didn't happen, obviously, but in North American sports, you're looking too at another Bobby Bonilla type situation almost. So it's crazy. You look at this as a whole. Baseball, this is a sport where Ohtani, yeah, he's a dual threat, if you will, player. Not going to pitch next year, like Austin said. But in a sport that you really don't see the amount of hard contact and, all the misgivings of being a professional athlete, I'm kind of surprised that baseball is where we're seeing these monumental contracts.
Is it going to pay out? They have no idea. They're taking a gigantic risk, probably the biggest risk of the ever in sports. But if he does win 1 or 2 World Series, they'll probably say it was definitely worth it. And not to mention the amount of fan bases across the world that he's going to bring that are now going to be Dodger fans, getting that Dodger merchandise. They're going to make so much money off of this. Plus, their owners are billionaires. I don't think they really care, how much money they're really spending, because they got arguably one of the greatest players. He's a unicorn. He's something we've never seen before. Somebody that's able to go out and dominate on the mound, then also go out and hit 300 and hit 30 plus 40 home runs. Like, we've never seen that before. So is it worth it? We don't know at this point right now, but go Dodgers.
You got to think of it this way. You're essentially getting 2 roster spots filled for the price of 1. So you're paying $350 million to each player, Ohtani the pitcher and Ohtani the hitter. If you look at it like that, $350 million is still behind Mike Trout, behind Mookie Betts, behind Aaron Judge. It's tied with Manny Machado down in San Diego, but you are getting 2 separate sides of the ball, a top 5 pitcher and a top 5 hitter in the league. So I'm okay with it personally.
At the end of the day, and I know that's a cliche saying, but as long as the Dodgers do win 1 World Series, it's a successful venture. It's a successful transaction, because you can look back at specific teams like the 1990s Braves. I know that they made it to the World Series so many times, and they were just named the team of the 90s. They were able to at least capture 1 World Series title, and that is a success if you can actually capture a World Series title.
See, I kind of disagree, Jackson. I'm going to be honest with you. So the Dodgers have already been to the World Series 3 times since 2017. They won 1, they lost 2. They've won it without Ohtani. Now you've spent $700 million on 1 player. And if Jordan's side piece, with that 350 for 2 roster spots, the Dodgers need to win more than just 1 World Series for this to be lucrative, because they've already won 1 and been to 3 in the last 6 years. There's got to be more incentive to winning than just 1 World Series to me.
I agree with that. You got it. You have Shohei Ohtani, you have Mookie Betts, you got Freddie Freeman, you've got Max Muncy, you got all these guys who are making lots and lots of money. It doesn't make sense if your goal is to just win 1 World Series. You got to be a dynasty at this point.
All right, gentlemen. Being the resident insider on the golf PGA Tour, Live Tour, whatever you guys want to call it, in myself, we got some breaking news on the PGA Tour, which is a very interesting name headed over to the Live Tour, which is Jon Rahm, the Spanish phenom. I mean, coming off a historical season, won the Masters, basically said, during the US Open that the Live Tour is not a real tournament. He would never do that. Will his life change if $400 million comes his way? He said, not at all. All of a sudden, breaking news, the PGA Tour is now in shambles, as if they weren't before, because they still haven't had an agreement with the Live Tour. Jon Rahm to Live. What do you guys think?
Everybody's got their price, right? You can say it all you want. Everybody's got their price, and we see it with Jon Rahm. I remember we were talking about him not too long ago on the podcast at the latter end of last season. It's kind of how you said. It's a strange flip when he was pretty adamantly against it, but now he's over there. It's interesting to see. It's interesting to see McIlroy's reaction to it too, where he's kind of the lone wolf over there now.
It's not just McIlroy being the lone wolf. I know that McIlroy plays a lot more, but Tiger isn't going to go to the Live. He's spoke that he's not going to try to move to the Live Tour. Now, the best thing is if the Live tries to poach the son of Tiger, what would happen with that?
Ooh.
That'd be interesting.
I think Jordan hit it on the head. Everyone has their price. Doesn't matter what it is. If you get offered enough money, you're going to take it. And we all want to say that how we value the position we're in, the money that we have or whatever, and money can't buy happiness. Well, personally, as someone who's struggled financially a lot lately, I think that's a load of crap. And Jon Rahm just proved that, because he's going from a low echelon of the PGA Tour, money, to what is going to be astronomical above what he's ever made. And even though, correct me if I'm wrong, but he was a world number 1 at one point, won the Masters last year. This is something that Liv really can gain from having this type of talent. And It's just going to grow from there. Now that he's made the commitment to go, I expect others to follow suit.
Well, yeah, he's also supposed to have his own team, which there was rumors of Tony Finau going to live as well. He put those rumors to bed, posting on his Instagram saying that he will return for his 10th season on the PGA Tour. It's just so weird to see Jon Rahm getting introduced in a live golf like Letterman jacket. That was bizarre to see. And yeah, like you said, Jesse, like who's going to follow suit? Breaking news, after he committed to live, I think it was a week after the PGA Tour suspended him. His ranking has fallen completely off in the world golf ranking. But where does this end? Where does it stop? How do these golfers get ranked in the world golf rankings? Because I do believe that just because they're not playing on the PGA Tour events, they're still playing legit sanctioned golf tournaments. They should be considered for the world golf rankings, which affects the fact of whether they can qualify for these majors, which is the biggest golf anyway. That's what you want to see, the best golfers playing in all of these tournaments. And where does it end? That's the biggest thing. Is like where does it end? I mean, this is just the PGA Tour to me right now is an absolute champion.
Welcome back to the Circus Catch. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special treat for you. My friend Chase Fragoso has decided to join the podcast to talk about an unlikely MVP candidate. Chase, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Jordan. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. First question I do need to ask, though. You're from California. You're a West Coast guy. Born and raised. You haven't lived anywhere else. Why the Dolphins?
Well, it started when I was 6 or 7 years old. I think 6. I watched football with my dad. He sat me down. He's a Rams fan, by the way. So
Joey Fragoso, great man. Shout out Joey.
Big Roman Gabriel, Eric Dickerson fan back in the days. He told me it was my time to select the NFL team. And he goes, you can select any team you want except for the Raiders, Niners, or Cowboys.
That's a good call.
My dad has so much hate for them, I think, because just the abuse he dealt with in the past, verbal abuse from other fans, and his dad being a Cowboys fan, all his other family members being Niner fans, and just his father-in-law being a Raiders fan. So it came down to that, and, I won't lie, it's mostly because of Ace Ventura. So I chose the Dolphins, and I've been regretting it for about 20 years from now. But, you live and you learn. But, I'm going to die on that cross being a Dolphins fan.
That's a pretty original way to pick a team is from Ace Ventura, but that's a great movie.
Oh, fantastic.
Who was your favorite player growing up on that Dolphins team?
See, I like to think it's Dan Marino because I love Dan. Dan is just the greatest of all time. I saw the end of his career. So, but you know what? I'd probably have to go with Zach Thomas.
Okay.
I love Zach. I played linebacker in high school. Wasn't good at it. But Zach being drafted in the 5th round, short and stocky, just being able to elevate himself from people didn't think he was going to do well. Texas Tech, small, but he was fantastic. I mean, I could list off other Dolphins players like Ricky Williams. Loved Ricky. And Jason Taylor I like too, but not as much as those guys. Those just were my favorites.
So let's talk about Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill got injured in the Monday night game.
Yeah.
Didn't quite have the performance that we're used to seeing him have, but he is still on pace to eclipse 2,000 yards. Chase, he would be the first receiver in NFL history to do so. Let's talk about that, and would that be enough to put him over the top to get him an MVP award?
So I did a little research, trying to see. So I'm going to list 5 players, and you're going to tell me who's the outlier. Okay? We've got Dan Marino. Obviously, got to bring him up. We got Joe Montana. We got Jerry Rice. We got Mark Mosley. And we've got Lawrence Taylor. Who's the outlier there?
Mark Mosley would be the outlier in there.
You're absolutely wrong. You know who is?
Who is it?
It is Jerry Rice. Because not a single wide receiver has won MVP in the NFL, which is insane.
Wow.
Jerry Rice got 30 votes back in 1987 when he broke all the records, and he got beat out. And the sad part is, too, Joe Montana got votes as well. And, by the way, Mark Mosley, do you know who he is?
I have not heard the name, no.
He won MVP in the strike-shortened 1982 season. He's a kicker. A kicker has won more MVPs than a wide receiver.
That's wild.
Now, I'm not joking. You could look it up.
No, I believe you.
And
Yeah.
he missed 3 extra points and a field goal, and he still got MVP over Dan Fouts. But seeing the Dolphins tonight and how they played, I don't get why Tyreek Hill wouldn't get it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you could tell the offense was faltering hard. I mean, he's averaging, before this game, 123 yards a game. I felt like if he were able to get the record, I really think that he should, if he does get clips his 2,000 yards and maybe gets the Triple Crown, that he does deserve it. But everybody looks at the quarterback. Quarterback's the first one that comes to mind. Then obviously comes running back I think he would, if he gets 2,000 yards by week 17, I think he does have a chance. I just don't think that he will get it. I really hope he does, but
No wide receiver has ever won the MVP award, but no wide receiver has ever hit 2,000 yards, and that could happen.
yeah, that's absolutely.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to the Jim Carrey reference.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, my turn to lead one in for us. I'm a big college sports fan. I get to give props to Ollie Gordon for winning the Doak Walker Award for Oklahoma State. But the biggest news, of course, Saturday night, Jayden Daniels, the quarterback of LSU, taking home the hardware, the biggest trophy in college football, the Heisman Trophy. I mean, pretty much a unanimous decision. He really ran away with it this time. Guys, I don't know about you, but I think this one's well-deserved.
Yeah, I like Bo Nix and Penix and obviously Marvin Harrison Jr. But yeah, this was a cakewalk. This was an easy decision. Jayden Daniels had a heck of a year. 40 tutties to 4 INTs. Same ratio as Joe Burrow had a couple years ago.
My comments on that are definitely well-deserving, but was it so much of a cakewalk when they put 4 people in there? I also think it was weird how Marvin Harrison was in there. Did he have a great season? Yes, but are 1,200 receiving yards and he had 14 touchdowns? Okay, is that Heisman worthy numbers?
No, it's definitely not.
I don't think so at all. Love Penix Jr. I thought he had a phenomenal season. Bo Nix as well. But yeah, Jayden Daniels definitely deserve it.
The biggest issue I had with Marvin Harrison being there was that, like you said, Austin, his numbers weren't that great. But another thing is, I felt like they needed to have the Heisman Trust had to have a non-quarterback there, because the biggest complaint, if you will, from college football fans across the board every single year for the last 5-10 years, it's been predominantly quarterbacks being announced in as attendees and invitees to the Heisman finals. Of course, Devontae Smith won it as a wide receiver a couple of years ago, but quarterbacks reign supreme, and especially quarterbacks that reign supreme getting the team to the playoffs. So this year, yes, it was a quarterback, but Jayden Daniels won it on a 9-4 LSU team. And who's the only team that held Jayden Daniels under 100 yards rushing and 200 yards passing? Florida State.
It's been a long time since the defensive players won it, because they have the Lombardi Award now that'll go towards the best defensive player usually in college football. But every once in a while you'll see a position player other than a quarterback win the Heisman, which is at least good, because I know Derrick Henry won one, Mark Ingram won one. You could just pretty much name any top prospect from Alabama that is mostly the ones that are those non-quarterbacks that are going to win the Heisman.
Do we think Marvin Harrison was in there because he's projected to be a top 2 draft pick because of the NIL deals? Do you think that had anything to do with it?
NIL shouldn't have anything to do with what your Heisman status is. If that, then Quinn Ewers or even Arch Manning should be in consideration for the Heisman, even though the Arch didn't do anything. He's one of the highest. Shedeur Sanders should have been in there.
There was so much talk surrounding him. I feel like every week you're like, oh yeah, Marvin Harrison. It's like I feel like the media can have a big impact on, selection committee. And I didn't think his numbers were even worthy of an invite, but kind of like Jesse said, got to throw a little wrinkle in there,
it's like, yes, Jackson, occasionally you'll get one of those non-quarterbacks to win it, but since 2000, 20 quarterbacks have been Heisman Trophy winners, and of the three players that weren't quarterbacks that won it, one of those got vacated in 2005 for Reggie Bush. So it's something that I think needs to change. Yes, the Heisman Trust should have a non-quarterback, at least one in there every year. But I don't think Marvin Harrison's numbers were anywhere near Heisman level this year.
Well, it has come and gone. The MLS season has concluded, and the 2023 MLS champions are the Columbus Crew. And this is their third MLS championship, while they took the trophy away from the reigning champion, the LAFC. And that concluded this past weekend. It was a 2-1 victory for the Crew. LAFC, they were able to get through to the championship after taking out the Dynamo, which they just ran over the Dynamo. The Dynamo's reign was coming to an end, even though the Dynamo are the US Cup champion. But the great thing about winning the MLS Cup is you get to play in the CONCACAF tournament, which the Columbus Crew are going to get to do. And since Jimmy Haslam has taken over the Columbus Crew, this is their second championship since 2018. So something, I know a lot of us don't really watch MLS, but it's something to just give recognition to, especially with the Messi signing in MLS, and a lot more eyes are going to MLS now.
And that's the point I was just about to make, Jackson. 4 years ago, when the Crew beat the Sounders for the 2020 trophy, 1,500 fans were in that stadium to watch them win that. This year, 20,800. Nearly a 20,000% increase. Granted, yes, that was during the COVID pandemic, that when they beat the Sounders, but still, you can finally see the MLS fan base and the interest growing in the United States for soccer. It's the number one played sport in 220 countries across the world. In the United States, it's 10th. It's not even close. It's not even in the top 5. But finally, we're starting to see increasing attendance and increasing interest. It's really good to see for the sport and for the league itself.
In a lot of countries, like you're saying, these over 200 countries that play the sport that do move here into the United States, they love going to watch these clubs play. Mm-hmm. And it's a very diverse fanship. And that is what I love seeing whenever I go to the stadium. Everyone is either decked out in what their home country's kits, or even the actual teams that they're going to go watch kits. But it's something that you just love to see, the growth of this sport, because it is a beautiful game. It's just poetry in motion, just watching. It's like jazz, man. Just watching the ball move up and down the pitch. It's something that you can just find peace in. And I love watching the game, especially live matches. Nothing beats
it. Live is great.
Oh, dude, it's beautiful.
Now, like you guys said, the Columbus Crew, second championship in 4 years. Do you guys think that, because we're on Dynasty Alert, do you think that we can use that word just yet? Do you think we got to wait till they win another one? Can they win another one?
They're not on Dynasty Alert, not yet, because, no, I can't do that. Not right now, especially with what Messi could eventually do with Inter Miami. Because while they weren't playing that great, they were in the championship for the US Cup. And that's one of those, they would have at least made the table if they would have won the US Cup, for sure. But no, not just yet.
All right, guys. Lastly, the Lakers did something that no other team has ever done, and that is win the NBA Cup. Obviously, it's going to be the first of many. Each player on the team earned an extra $500,000 for the year. For 3 of the players on that team, that's about double their salary. So cool, good for them. I thought the tournament was very enjoyable. I thought that it brought a lot more intensity to some of these games. Austin, you're the other kind of NBA guy in the crew. What did you think about some of these games?
I do agree with that. So their whole goal with this in-season tournament is to get rid of kind of like the load management sort of thing and get more people invested in these basketball games. And I think that's exactly what they did. The only problem that I have with the in-season tournament is that once I got to Vegas, that is the ugliest court I've ever seen in my life. Who designed that? Somebody might be without a job, come in the next couple of weeks, because that has got to be the most hideous thing. And then banning the Lakers from wearing their sickest jerseys, like the Black Mamba jerseys. But I thought the in-season tournament was fantastic. Did it kind of allow for some of the other games, non-in-season tournaments, maybe be a little bit of lulls? If you look at the Lakers, 110%, they got up for every single in-season tournament game, but kind of had some letdowns outside of the in-season tournament. But the whole goal is to get more competitiveness, obviously raise money for people that don't make as much. And I saw something that came out yesterday was LeBron told the guys that are on two-way contracts, he walked up to them in the locker room and said, "Don't worry, I've got this. This is for you guys." And he went up to every single person that was on a really tiny contract and said, "We're going to get you $500,000. And him and Anthony Davis pretty much dominated that finals game. Obviously, Austin Reeves had a phenomenal game as well, but it just goes to show you that the Lakers still got it. LeBron's 38 years old, and he's not slowing down. And Father Time is not so much undefeated. Just saying.
I thought it was very interesting. Like Taylor and I discussed last week, it's the first of many. So there's a lot of things that a lot of people are going to take a look at and see what they can improve on for next year. The whole points for being tiebreakers, I don't know, a lot of people really didn't like that part of it. But I thought it was a success overall. Now, here's the thing that I want everybody's input on. The Lakers are going to raise a banner for winning this in-season tournament. Do we think that that's justified to put another banner up at Crypto.com Arena?
Simply put, no. Because it's an in-season tournament. It's not you're winning the finals. You don't put banners up for an in-season tournament. You don't see Duke and North Carolina putting up banners for winning the Maui Invitational,
But MLS clubs raise the MLS US. If you win the US Cup, you raise a banner there because there is a trophy involved.
That's a different thing, though. That's completely different. That's a
how
there is a trophy involved.
It's a trophy. It might be the first trophy that for the in-season tournament, but it's still a trophy. It's still a championship
for the Lakers. Sounds like a Clippers move, to be honest, because they're not going to raise an NBA championship banner. So if they won the tournament, they would probably raise that banner. For the Lakers, they don't need to do it, but it's the first one ever. I can see the arguments for and against it. I'm not really that against it. I mean, it's another title, whatever. It's fine.
As long as it's not as big as the championships, right? Because we don't want to cheapen what those are and put this anywhere near that stratosphere. It's cool though, because you see some teams who put especially in the NFL, when they win the division, they have divisional banners up, not nearly as big as Super Bowl banners, obviously. So I think in that sense, yeah, that would be cool. And like you said, it is the first one, but it just sounds weird. We won an in-season tournament game. Not a series, a game. So we're going to put a banner up. So I get the argument from both sides. I'm a little bit more against than for, but I get it. All right, guys, it's time to say goodbye. And we will see the rest of you next week. Jackson, Jesse, Austin, thank you for coming on. Jesse, Austin, we'll see you guys in the fantasy football playoffs.
Good luck. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I got you for the next 2 weeks. Jesse, it looks like you got Taylor, so good luck with that. Jackson, I don't know, man. It's the commissioner's curse.
It is.
Whatever. Well, when you don't set your lineup for 3 weeks, that's what happens. You don't make the playoffs.
That's true.
I was cooking Thanksgiving dinner one of those days. I'm sorry.
3 weeks in a row.
Look, man. Yeah.
And I just want to add, I beat Austin and Jordan back-to-back weeks to get in the playoffs. So
I was resting my team for the playoffs.
Right.
Load management for me.
Load management, exactly.
Yep.
All right, guys.
This isn't the NBA.
From Texas, Oklahoma, Montana, and California, sayonara.
See you guys.